Now, what we saw about the basic life processes. Now, next we will see about the planes and section. About the planes and section. Okay, planes and section. So there are about near about three. That is sagittal. First is the sagittal plane. Sagittal plane body divides into right and left. Body divides into right and left. Okay, body divides into right and left. Okay, so this is the body structure, for example. Okay, so the sagittal plane goes from here. Sagittal plane, what it does, it goes from here like this and divides into right and left. That is the sagittal plane. Okay, then next is second is frontal or corneal. Frontal or corneal. Coronal, I am sorry, coronal plane. Okay, it divides body into anterior and posterior. It divides into anterior and posterior. Okay, so here we can say it divides the body like this. From here it goes down to here, that the back side is the posterior and the front side that is the anterior, while the back side is called as the posterior. Okay, back side that is posterior, front side that is anterior. And the third, that is a transverse plane. In that, body divides into superior and inferior. Body divides into superior and inferior. Okay, so here in the image we can see, one second. So here in the image we could see inferior and superior. So this is the transverse plane here, which divides the upper body and the lower body. The lower body is called over here, that is the inferior, and the upper body is known as the superior. So these are the planes and the sections. Okay, most important: sagittal, frontal or coronal, and transverse, or even it is known as cross plane. Okay, transverse plane, cross plane, frontal, coronal plane, and sagittal plane. So this was the easy part about the planes and the section. Next we will see next that comes about the next point, that is about the cell. Okay, that is about the cell. The cell consists of plasma membrane. Okay, plasma membrane, then the liquid part, that is cytoplasm, and the third, that is the nucleus. These are the three main components of the cell. From that we will be seeing about the first, that is the cell membrane. Okay, that cell membrane, that is the outermost layer. It is known as the outermost layer. Outermost layer. Okay, so it is made up of, it is very important, mostly asked. It is very important, mostly asked. It is made up of lipids. Okay, lipid bilayer. Okay, lipid bilayer, that consists of phospholipid 75%. Then cholesterol, that is 20%, and glycolipid, that is 5%. Okay, so phospholipid 75%, cholesterol 20%, glycolipid, these are the content by which the cell membrane is made. It is important. And even pyq, it is important. Pyq. Okay, so this was the concept about the cell membrane. So now we will see about the next. Further we will see about the transportation across the plasma membrane. So we see about the plasma membrane, that is the cell membrane. So in that, the transportation, how does the transport takes place in the cell membrane? Okay, so there are mostly two types, that is active and passive. Okay, passive is one and active is one. Okay, passive, first we will see about the passive, that is without energy. Without energy, in which it comes simple diffusion, simple diffusion, simple diffusion, then facilitated diffusion, facilitated diffusion, then osmosis, osmosis. These three concepts comes in passive. Okay, while in active, while in active is the with the use of energy, with energy. Okay, with the use of energy is needed in active. Okay, so here comes the primary transport, 1 degree, that is primary transport. And primary transport with the use of ATP, with the use of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, everybody knows. Okay, and secondary transport, that is use of energy stored in ionic concentration, energy in ionic concentration, ionic concentration gradient, ionic concentration gradient. Okay, this comes in this. For the examples, if the examples asked, that is endocytosis, ingestion of substance by cell. Okay, and exocytosis, discharge of the particle of the cell. Okay, these are the two, that is endocytosis, cytosis, and exocytosis, exocytosis. So in this comes the phagocytosis. That is ingestion. Okay, and discharge of the particle, discharge. Exocytosis is the discharge of particle, that comes in exocytosis. These are the two examples of the active transport, while passive is the simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. So mostly that it is asked to differentiate, or from which from the following, which is the passive and which is the active. This type of questions are framed and they are asked, so better you get it, learn. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I will just